to make a living, but this guy literally turned that thing on as soon as we hit record on the microphone.
Yeah. It's too aggressive.
That's not aggressive. That's an edger.
I'm just saying.
Turn the fucking microphone on. We got.
It is on. I can't take out that. If it was just a steady, I could take it out.
You mean
what are you doing?
You mean removing it? I thought you meant like you felt, oppressed by the sound. It's too aggressive.
I can't eliminate it if it's all over.
When we do a cartoon, Brad, and we need an animated animated sound of an edger, it's you. You got the job. Do it again.
Why? It's not on cue. It's only when I'm annoyed.
You're still annoyed. Look at your face. How do you even do that?
I shake my jaw.
Do it again. Like SpongeBob, you know the way SpongeBob laughed?
Yeah.
Like he used to punt. That hurts.
I bet he can do that without... Did you see him do this?
I've seen him. He used to... That laugh that SpongeBob did, he used to hit his throat.
Yeah?
Ow.
I can do it without hitting. I'm a genius.
You sounded nothing like SpongeBob.
I'm saying I can do the without hitting.
I can do the If you were turned into a robot, right? A cyborg of some kind, would you stay short, or would you give yourself a 6-foot tall body and then just stick your face on top of that?
I don't know.
Because did you notice that every robot in this movie was just... It was just a face on top of a completely mechanical...
Yeah. I think they kept the brain and the spinal cord.
Turns out that nobody gets injured in their face or their head at all to get turned into a robot. It's always like an arm, or they can get decapitated.
Well, I think it's more like the body's injured and they're like, well, if we're gonna fix that, might as well just... It's kind of like upgrading when you go to the movies and you just want a small popcorn or something, and they're like, oh, for $2 more you can have this, and so they upsell you. I think that's what happens in the Alita world. Is
the word itself says up. Would you...
Oh, you lost an arm? Well,
let's give you a whole new robot body.
Yeah, place everything but your face.
Yeah. What if somebody goes in and says, yeah, but what if I want to get rid of my face? Can you make me look like George Clooney and be a robot? Like, if you went in there, would you change your face too?
I think my face is okay.
Spoken like a true person in denial. I think my face is okay.
I'm pretty sure it's okay. It's the rest of me.
I do think that if you had your face and a completely different person from the neck down, you might be okay.
Yeah. I'd be a different person if I had, even if I was my size and had a...
Here's the real problem.
Robot body.
Here's the real problem. You're keeping the brain. So the brain is where your real problems are. Like the unlikable parts of you are coming from that brain of yours.
I would have phantom aches and pains.
No, you'd just be miserable no matter what. But here you go. Okay, I got this new body and now I can't, like, whatever. Like, you would find a problem with that as well.
Well, there's such a thing as phantom pain.
You would just sneeze all... You would just, like, sneeze all over it.
So I would probably have phantom...
Oh, yeah. My back.
I would just remember that, aren't I supposed to hurt right now? And then I would just...
And then we would say, you are a robot, you don't have a back. And it's like...
Then I'd say, yeah, but look at all this rust.
It's just who I am.
Wires are crossed. I don't know. Height doesn't matter. Well, you know what? I answered the question because I can't reach half the stuff that I want. I'd say, then yes, taller body. Or you know what would be cool is to be my size since I'm used to it, but to have I could press a button and go, and then reach the thing, and then
go back to this.
Speaking of that,
why would anyone go back to this though?
I think it's Caitlyn Jenner. No, who's the young Jenner?
The young, don't know.
Skinny one.
I have no idea.
Caitlyn is the guy, right?
I don't know. I don't care.
Who? She was on Fallon the other day.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that. How does he do that? How does he sit there and act like he's excited to talk to the Jenners?
Oh. Yeah, any one of them. Who cares?
Or the Kardashians. He is a master at that.
Yeah.
If there's anything that he's really good at, he's having fun no matter who he's talking to. I can't even have fun talking to you. If I was any better at it...
This isn't fun?
No. I'm watching you Google something. This isn't fun.
Because I'm trying to get her name, the young...
Is it Kylie?
Kylie Jenner. Okay.
Why do I know that? Why do I care?
Don't you wish? It's for the same reason we know everything Trump does every day.
No, I know that because that's a thing. But Kylie Jenner has offered no...
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm just saying. I saw her on Fallon, and OMG, have you seen her head to toe?
No.
Her legs. She has like an upper torso, like take my torso. It's like small upper torso, and her legs are just. Her legs are as tall as I am, and then she's got a small torso, but her legs are like 6 feet, and then the rest of her body goes from there.
Okay.
It's insane. She looks like she's walking on stilts all the time. It's just weird, like giraffe legs. That's all I'm saying.
We put our whole show on pause for 3 minutes for you to tell me that. I thought you were I thought there was a punchline coming.
It was just related. Related to height.
Well,
she has freakishly long legs.
Knowing how your brain works, everything's related somehow. You can get there from anywhere, because it just the little ADD flicker in your brain, and suddenly we're somewhere else now.
That is true,
and we don't know how it happened or why we're there or how long we're going to be there. But it won't be long, because soon you're going to be like, oh, shiny object over here now. Hello, welcome to Movieisms. I'm Becca Meyer.
I'm balding Ewok. I was just laughing at because every time you start the show, you're a little hunched over, and then when you get the hello, you're like hello, and then it's like you get shocked and your upper body straightens.
It's like you come to life.
Hello, and then you're like straight.
And then nobody ever sees it, but I just like point my thumb at you for you to speak. It's like. Well, we saw a couple different movies this time. Oh. Finally.
What do you mean, finally? Is that our goal? Well,
we've been talking about going to see, more than one movie to review.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's been a drought.
Well, there's been a drought, and there's also just been a drought of time. We haven't been able to go out. Anyway, so we saw Alita and... of course, if you clicked on the episode, you know what we're going to be talking about because it's right there. But there's Alita and Lego, the second part.
Let's just say Lego Movie 2. I don't know.
Lego Movie 2. So, Alita. We're going to start with Alita, though. Because that was the one that we talked about wanting to see last week. So...
or I talked about it. You talked about how it was going to suck.
I didn't say it was going to suck. I said I'm worried that it's going to suck.
Yeah, which means you think it's going to suck.
No, I said I'm worried about it.
Right, but
and by the way, you rolled your eyes at me, but I saw in multiple places where people said CGI heavy movies that come out in January and February are always in question. That's exactly what I said, and you rolled your eyes at me, but I wonder if you wanted to roll your eyes at these actual professional critics who are being paid to write about this stuff.
No, I rolled my eyes because it's like you say it every year, same time of year.
Well, it's January and February. CGI heavy movies come out. What do you want me to say?
At some point, just assume we know it. Can we
Brad, first of all, number one, fuck you. You don't remember anything I say. You don't ever remember anything. I have to repeat myself to you about things we talked about yesterday.
That's only because I wasn't paying attention.
Right. I have to assume you're not paying attention.
It's not necessarily forgetting. It's just that's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yesterday it was. Yesterday it was this. We're going to get together and work? Yeah, 5. Okay, 5. 24 hours goes by, and you said, what time do we say we're going to work? I said 5, and you said, let's make it 5:30. And the thing is, see, you don't even remember.
Yesterday.
This was 2 days ago. You don't even remember having that conversation.
No, I remember that, but...
But the thing is, you checked with me about what time, and I said 5, and then you're like, okay, let's say 5:30. But... It's like I tell you, we have the conversation, we decide, and then a day later when the time comes, I have to remind you, and then, you know what I mean?
You're making it like
and you're giving me shit about repeating myself.
Yes.
You're giving me shit about repeating myself, but it's what I do.
But
I also teach high school, which should just say, you're going to repeat yourself for a living. That's what your job is. You come in here and you repeat yourself.
If you are out and about... Mm-hmm. And the day before we said, let's get it run at that time.
Yeah.
It's always in question when you're out and about whether
for
it's going
you,
to be
when I
exactly.
say when I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. On time.
Yes, but
99% of the time.
You can't always control it. So I always have to check. Are you going to be here at 5 exactly?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I will let you know if that changes.
I'm always going to double check, no matter what. I always
you can double check, but you act like you don't remember having the conversation.
Well, isn't that why I asked you? Because I remembered.
No, you said, what time are we going to be working together? And I said 5 is what we decided. You're
assuming I didn't remember. I just wanted to know if it changed.
Okay, so that one instance you actually remembered, but I will say things to you all the time, and you look at me like, oh, right. But then you want to give me shit on our show about repeating myself. You're the one. You pushed the button. You pushed the button. You want to look at me and say, "Oh God, just assume we know." It's like I'm constantly just repeating myself.
Exactly. Thank you.
Not by choice. People just don't pay attention, and you're one of them.
You went off on a tangent, but I'm just trying to say...
I'm in purgatory.
The audience here, we don't need you to remind us that a movie's probably going to suck. Because if we're going to see a movie that's going to suck, some part of us knows it. We don't need you to hammer in...
But then why do episodes? Because by this point in time, almost 50 episodes in, they know what kind of movies I'm going to like. We should just stop doing episodes. Otherwise, I'll just be repeating myself.
And you have been, and we do all the time.
And so do you. And you complain that I complain, and then say, why can't you just enjoy a movie for what it is?
Yes.
Well, that's not what I do.
Sometimes.
That's not what I do.
Do you know me? What in our history together leads you to believe? Yeah. Okay.
So that's our review of Alita. We're moving on to Lego movies. I'm just kidding.
Alita was awesome. It didn't have any social significance, really, but
let's pull back a little bit on the use of the word awesome.
Okay.
Alita. So she's got a mysterious past, right? Yeah, she doesn't know where she's coming from.
A robot. Well, not really. She has a human brain, right?
Right.
I guess.
She doesn't know where she comes from. She doesn't remember where she came from beforehand. And we find out early in the film that she's like something like 300 years old or something.
Guess. How does a brain stay alive that long?
Who knows? Who knows? That's also not explained in the movie. But the movie is basically about her realizing that she's the one, and she comes into awareness and she's the one, like, she's better than everybody else at this thing. And if her controlling parent would just let her be herself, she could achieve her true greatness.
Okay.
Right. That's basically it. And it's a teenager, it's YA novel style storyline,
You say YA, young adult?
Young adult.
Okay.
That's what people call it.
You're hip. I get it.
I'm not hip. It's just what people call it.
It's okay. You can be hip.
No, that's not what hip people say. That's what regular people say.
You mean the youngins?
No, just youngins don't know what YA means. It's a genre.
It's not like text code. You're like,
no.
YA.
No, they're saying yeah. When they type YA, it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's directed by Robert. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez. I'm trying to give the details of the movie before we talk about it. You jump straight to the review, but you got to give details.
No, I'm still stuck on the YA because you just said you don't use it in text. But so who uses it in speech? Where do you use it, and why would you say YA? Just say young adult. God.
Brad, there's a whole industry of books called YA. It's a genre called YA. It's short. It is short for young adult, but no one says young adult. They just say YA.
There's a genre called yaoi and yuri, but we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, we're in America. Nobody cares about yuri.
You don't even know what it is, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
A yaoi. That sounds like somebody hurt themselves. Yaoi. Ah.
No, it's like
that's the sound you make.
Okay.
Your pre-robot body.
Yaoi.
Yaoi. Yaoi, my back.
It's Japanese porn. Yuri is
now that
gay.
sound.
Yuri is gay porn.
Now that sound yaoi has a whole new meaning. Yeah, I'm not even going to act it out. Okay. It's directed by Robert Rodriguez. It's written by James Cameron, and produced. Yeah, he has screenplay credit.
I thought he just produced. Okay.
Yeah, and he produced it, and so I like Robert Rodriguez movies.
We respect Robert Rodriguez because he's used to be a fellow indie filmmaker.
Yeah, he had humble beginnings. And basically, I like his attitude towards making movies. He just wants to do it as fast and as inexpensive and cut through the bullshit and as cool as he can make it. He's not ever made a movie that was really deep on characters or like where you sit there and like really ponder the meaning of the movie at the end. It's just like a lot of just action stuff. But he comes up with some really cool stuff in his action scenes, like in his action sequences. And he's basically like he's a gadget guy. He likes gadgets. All of his movies have had like gadgets in them. Like El Mariachi, which is his first thing, had a machine gun guitar case. And he directed probably he directed Grindhouse, one of the movies in Grindhouse, the one that Rodriguez and Tarantino did together. And
I like the one Tarantino did.
Yeah, and she had like a machine gun like leg that like a stump that was shooting. He gadgets like that. So the movie is not all that deep. Some of the dialogue is not good. It's very expositional with not a whole lot to it, which makes some of the performances seem really flat. But the movie does sing when it gets into its action sequences, because
that's what I meant when I said it was awesome.
Yeah, there are
those people like me who are going there. I'm going to see a robot kick ass. You're gonna love that,
right? So when I go see an action movie that's not very good, that I don't like, very often the action sequences don't woo me into the movie, aren't good enough to woo me into the movie because the characters and everything. This movie I did not have that problem with, though. This movie, the action sequences were pretty badass and flashy and cool, and she's awesome to watch. And
you were also most of the time you were dazzled by how realistic and amazing everything looked. Like your mind is saying, I know this isn't real, but it looked so real. I almost wanted to see it in 3D, but I didn't argue when you wanted to see the regular.
Oh. I never assume you want to see 3D because I know how you feel about 3D, and I feel the same way. So.
Every once in a while, though, I want to... This was one of the ones I wanted
to see. And that's the thing. The CGI work on her, Alita, is so incredible that it is distracting almost.
Yeah. It
was pulling me out of the story because I was just trying to find... An imperfection or something that didn't look real.
But that's the point I want to make, is that the perfection is in the imperfections.
Yes.
Because when we're looking for imperfections, we're looking for things that look
too perfect,
not natural.
Yeah.
But with her, we see on close-ups, you can see beads of sweat and pores, and you can see little hairs around her forehead or around her hairline that are like curled up and not quite, you could see her hair people took time. It's not a lot of people know this, but people who do this, CG and animation, they have to spend, I don't want to say most of their time, but maybe half their time, just a lot of time making everything look not perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes us think it's not real. Is when
the computer when the computer is processing the thing or rendering it, it wants to make it perfect.
Yeah.
And their job is to go through and make it look imperfect.
So they did a great job of making everything look
especially imperfect. In the close-ups of her. Sometimes when you see her walking, you can tell that they didn't spend as much time on that shot as they spend on the close-ups of her, where like you can see her big, abnormally large eyes.
Yeah.
Just a little bit larger than normal, and not so large that they look like unrealistic, but big, expressive eyes, and that helps you pull in. But her eyes work like real eyes. You could see where her pupils were dilating and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just realized it's based off of anime. I think that's why the eyes were so big.
Yeah, possible.
Because that's a thing in the anime culture, is that the innocent characters have those big eyes, and the more sinister characters have these little thin eyes.
But also in CGI movies, Pixar was the first one that they were finding a way to give cars emotion. They gave them eyes, big expressive eyes.
Yeah.
Same thing with toys. The eyes in the Toy Story, especially in Woody and Buzz, they have bigger eyes.
Yep. They get that from the anime style. Yeah. That's the difference between American animations and animations in Japan. Is that most of their characters have just huge, maybe 3 times the size of what you would normally do.
Yeah.
But by the way, even though her eyes are abnormally large, you get used to it really quick.
That's not even a complaint, because I was dazzled by her eyes watching them work like real eyes, the blinking and the pupils and the shifting of the eyes, and her skin looks like skin.
Yeah, by the way,
especially in the close-ups where you're just sitting there it looks real. It's weird.
There's a whole science just in that. I don't know, because you and I like watching all the behind-the-scenes stuff. In the past, I don't know, I think in the past decade, they realized there was a leap in 3D where they couldn't figure out why did it always look plastic. Mm-hmm. And someone realized it, because, you put a light on your finger, and there's translucent, you can see so they realized that's the problem. That's why everyone looks plastic in 3D, because you need to make the skin translucent. So there's been a leap where now we got characters with realistic skin because they make it has the right translucency. I mean, it's complicated. I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's complicated to get it to look so real, and so it's amazing. You kind of are amazed in some scenes, you're just looking. you're not even. Sometimes I lost. Well, I have ADD, but sometimes I'm like not. I don't hear what they're saying because I'm looking at the.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. And it's part of the fun of watching it is watching her movements. Her facial expressions and how subtle some of the moves are. When she talks, it doesn't seem like it's not like the stiff Superman mustache lip,
right?
Where something looked wrong. There's actual they spent time to get her so human like at places, but there's parts of the movie that it seems like characters say things because that's the point in time in the movie where a character would say something like that, but it's not motivated. She asked her, and it's in the trailer at one point where she says, "Does it bother you that I'm not a human?" And he says, "You're the most human person I've ever known." And the thing is that's actually not true because she's subhuman. She is not human. It's not like she's overly emotional. It's not like she's has the capacity for great emotion. She is a warrior who beats the shit out of people. That's not human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not human-like. I mean, people beat each other up, but that's not, what I'm saying is her abilities are not human.
I think he was talking about how she had childlike wonder because she didn't remember anything.
Maybe.
So everything was new to her.
But they did one scene of that at the beginning of the movie, and he said that near the end of the movie. It's just like it didn't.
I think he was talking about her heart, but yes, they could have spent a little more time on the dialogue. But it's Robert Rodriguez. He's not known for his dialogue.
Speaking of and you said it when we walked out of here. Some of that movie was very much like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
Or Spy Kids, which I loved, at least the first couple of Spy Kids movies. I loved watching them. They were fun. There was kids doing cool stuff. But the storytelling and the exposition and the dialogue was childlike and cheesy.
Also, the effects were not good in those movies.
Well, he was producing things on a much lower budget than they should have been.
But I will say, I think he learned from doing those movies how to make this one look so good.
Well, plus he had James Cameron.
I was going to say, yeah.
Who is at the forefront of this stuff. And James Cameron's company, I think it's called Lightstorm, is at the forefront of this stuff. And James Cameron has the ability to get the budget that they would need to do something like this. It's just unfortunate that the movie just falls a little flat. The action adventure scenes are 5-star action adventure scenes.
You get what you went there for.
The exposition, storytelling, character stuff is 2 or 3-star stuff. So it's unfortunate that there's it's out of balance with itself.
So it ends up like a 4-star.
Yeah.
But basically, it's great. It just lacks soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
But which is, I don't know, is that ironic because it's a robot who lacks a soul?
We don't know much about the world that they live in, which is it's the year 2500, something like that. We don't know anything really about the world. We find out little bits and pieces, but I was curious about the world that they live in more than we found out, because they jump straight to the almost like noir elements of finding. Yeah,
basically they're talking like everyone on land on the earth was I don't want to say scum, but like low income, nobody cares.
Right.
Like they don't even have police anymore, so they hire regular people are hired to keep the hunt bad guys down.
Yeah. I want to know more about that. That feels like Blade Runner to me, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's not what Blade Runner is, but it feels like Blade Runner because the world they're living in is sort of a post-apocalyptic world.
And you never get to see the sky place. The only thing we learn about the sky place is that the only way they chopped somebody up for their organs, like their eyes and their brain and all of that, and had it all together, which that looked cool when he opened up the suitcase and there was eyes were moving around and it was in there. But he said that this is the only way you get up there. So I was thinking, well, what exactly is
what?
Up there?
What's up there? Is it like because the whole movie they said it's rich people that are up there. Maybe it's like an upper class.
Maybe that's what it is. They replace their old body parts.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay.
But I want to know more about that. You know, we just said everything we know about the world in the last minute there. Like we don't know anything about it.
That's it. That is true.
I did like what was it called? Rollerball, Madball. What was that?
I thought it was Murder Ball.
Murder Ball, I think is what it called. Yeah. Anyway, those scenes were awesome, but they had this big build up in the beginning of the movie about Murder Ball and blah blah blah, and then she competed one time, I think it was. And then we never saw Murder Ball again. It's like this whole big build up for that thing that she's great at because of her abilities.
She had to quit in the middle of her first match too.
Yeah, and then it was like
it wasn't even a real match because they're all trying to kill her.
Right. So it's all that build up for something that it turned out had nothing to do with the story. Like it had very little to do with the rest of the movie because we never went back to it.
I do want to bring...
I guess, didn't we do it at the end? They went back to it maybe at the end. I can't remember now, but...
Yeah.
Anyway.
I want to shed light on the other stuff that you liked was that the unpredictable storytelling. Like, she had a love interest, and you expect that to go a certain way. But it doesn't go the way you think. I mean, obviously he gets hurt.
You're talking about when she becomes a lesbian? I'm just kidding.
What part did I miss? But yeah, no. I mean, so her love interest gets hurt.
There are some things that happen that you don't expect.
Right.
So that felt good.
Yeah, it's like they lead you, and you're like, okay, that person's safe. But then sometimes people that you think are safe aren't safe in this movie.
Yeah.
Even Alita at one point. You're like, you feel like she's lost everything, and it's like what? And so I enjoyed that part where it wasn't leaning on tropes.
It wasn't always paint by numbers,
right?
However, the basic premise is a paint by numbers premise of like we talked about before, the Harry Potter premise.
Typical anime.
You have a hidden past that you might not know about. You find out more about yourself, and then it turns out you're this super badass person that
Was it a fish out of water story? It kind of is.
I would call it fish out of water.
Yeah. Anyway, I really enjoyed it.
So it's a fun movie. If you have any inclination towards seeing it, I would say you'd enjoy it. Enjoy it because even for me, I have a problem with some of the storytelling elements and it's not the performances, the incredible actors that they have in this movie, Mahershala Ali, Jennifer Connelly, they just aren't given much to do. However, in between those poorly written, poorly directed scenes are some really visually spectacular action sequences and fun to watch, and they feel real when you're watching them. They don't feel like they have consequences throughout the story.
By the way, you just described how I feel with Jackie Chan movies and some kung fu movies. Like you always talk about, well, how could, but it's bad. How can you watch it? Because I can excuse some of the other stuff because the martial arts is like, look at that, it's amazing.
Right? Yeah, but I don't normally get dazzled by the action sequences enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if I'm, it has to be like Matrix level for me to overlook bad writing.
But Yuen Woo-ping, by the way.
I know who Yuen Woo-ping is.
Yeah.
We had coffee once.
I'm just saying and I was a fan of Yuen Woo-ping before Matrix.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing all about it since
don't get me on Matrix.
Since 1998.
Yeah.
When the Matrix came out.
Yuen Woo-ping is awesome.
Yeah. So that's our review of Alita. The next movie we saw, which will require a lot less time to talk about, is Lego Movie 2, also known as the second part. So
yeah,
it's just a continuation of the absurdity.
By the way, everything is not awesome.
It's a continuation.
And that is a song in the movie.
Everything is just a continuation of the absurdity of what the Lego movies are, which, by the way, is totally adorable, sweet, and funny at times.
The baby grenades or whatever those were, like the stars and hearts that are like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Hey, ow, you know.
At one point in time, like a star like dies, and when it dies, it pukes glitter, like rainbow colored glitter. It's like, but it's like rainbow glitter. So the premise is the first thing you see is Will Ferrell from the dad from the first movie.
Yeah, it's like in flashes, right?
In flashes, telling his son that now that I let you play down here, now you have to let your sister play down here. So for me, at least, I could tell right early on that the cutesy pie, like unicorns and stars and heart-shaped things, that was the sister battling with the brothers, like view of what the Lego land that they have built for themselves should be. It's a conflict between the two of them. So that part is cool. They really take the obnoxious songs up a notch.
Yeah.
So
so much so that while you're annoyed by it, they're saying this song will get stuck in your head.
Right there, there is, and I feel like it's a song for the parents. There is a song in here. This song will get stuck in your head. That's what they say over and over and over again, and that is the name of the song. This song will get stuck in your head, just like Everything Is Awesome got stuck in your heads. Yeah. And like I remember hearing so many adults and parents go, God, that song is annoying, but it's I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, the songs, I found myself tapping my foot.
Yeah, they're catchy, like computerized sounding, like over-synthesized, over-processed pop songs, but they're cute and funny, and it's almost like the music, the movie has like these little music videos that goes along with these but there is no concentration required in this movie. Because it literally, talk about ADD, it is zigzagging all over the place, and this is happening, and blah, blah, then it's over here, blah, blah, blah. So there's not like a story that happens where it's like this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. It's from like scenario to scenario.
And they keep popping over here. Well, here's this joke. Okay, now we're back to what's going on. Yeah. No, here's another joke, and then back over here.
The jokes are, a lot of the jokes are funny. A lot of the scenarios are really well made and visually stunning to look at.
Batman is funny, too.
Batman is funny.
What was it? He said, eat freedom.
Right, there's one point where he's throwing things at the enemy. He's like, eat fiber, eat wood. And then he picks up a piece of Statue of Liberty and goes, eat freedom. And then he throws like the Statue of Liberty's crown at them or something. And it's ridiculous. But funny. It's also funny that they give Batman a love interest in the movie. Yeah. And he's like trying to keep his like angsty street credit, but also trying to like finding out that he has feelings, you know, and there's really a lot of his problems that he's been like suppressing his feelings all along. And he's walking around with like his Batman cape, but he's got glitter all over himself, and he's got like his Batman cape is like furry, like it's like plush, like bathrobe looking.
Oh yeah.
It's funny. It's ridiculous, but funny. However, I really just wanted the movie to be over about the time it got started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just pummeled constantly with noise and flashing lights and song, joke, Batman, flashing lights over here. It's like what am I supposed to be looking at? And it's clearly not a movie for adults.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely a movie for kids.
The kids that were in the audience loved every moment. They were clapping all the way through it, clapped at the end.
Yes,
your kids will love this.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
adults will, might.
I think the adult that was with those kids liked it.
Yeah,
it seems like those kids have the perfect dad for them.
I think because they were watching it through their kids' eyes.
Yeah,
because I've noticed I can watch a movie by myself and feel a certain way, but then if I watch it with someone else, depending on how much they like it or not, I will experience it with them.
I don't remember being annoyed by the first Lego movie. This movie...
You loved it.
This movie annoyed me. And it was they doubled down on the over-the-top, like strobing everything, all the stuff that's over here. They doubled down on that stuff. Like, the over-the-top, childlike zigzagging that, like, in this movie that wasn't in the original Lego movie. And it almost, I wondered if they were just, like... I wondered halfway through, I'm thinking, were they nervous that they weren't going to be able to tell like an actual story, so they're just throwing all this stuff. There's a story to the movie, but there's were they worried that it's almost like they got nervous about telling an actual story. And so because of that, they're like, yeah, but we can tell this story if we just over here, over here, over here, over here, and it's like they might enjoy the whole movie if we give them a whole bunch of stuff to be distracted by while they're watching the movie.
Yeah.
I did not feel that way about the first Lego movie. I might be remembering it wrong.
No, it wasn't that busy.
Busy is a good word. I did not like the Batman Lego movie. I'm a huge Batman fan. I like Batman, and I think Batman character in the Lego world is hilarious.
He's funnier in the Lego movies than he is in his own...
Yeah. What? Why? Why is that? It's like when they take a sketch from Saturday Night Live and make a movie out of it, and it's just not funny anymore.
Right.
Something like that,
But it's still funny in those small little...
Yeah. He's hilarious, and all the jokes from Batman are like perfectly... They're just right there in place. Yeah. And it's good.
I would say half of the out loud laughs I had were Batman jokes.
Laughs. Yeah, Batman jokes. So, I mean, we don't need to tell adults to go see the Lego movie.
They're going to be forced to see it.
You know that if you want to see the Lego movie, that's what the Lego movie is going to be.
Your kids are going to want to see it.
And if you have kids, you're going to go see it.
But
we're telling you, you won't really regret it, but you might need
some caffeine.
No. You won't. You're going to need to close your eyes and let it drift away from you when the movie's over, because it's like you're pummeled constantly with flashing lights and stuff.
I've gotten that before. You ever turn off all the lights after you're watching TV and then you turn off all the lights and you can still see a strobe thing in your eyes?
What's that called? It's called
perception.
No, it's called overstimulated.
Oh, right.
That's what I was about this movie. I was overstimulated by it, but not totally in a good way. Mm-hmm. So, not bad. It deserves its 80-85% on Rotten Tomatoes. It deserves that. It's an entertaining movie.
I want to say I felt like Lego, what was it? The second part was like Matrix 2. If Lego 1 was Matrix 1. Lego 2 is like the Matrix 2, mm-hmm. because in Matrix 2, it destroys the myths in the lore in the first one. And mm-hmm. this one does that with the Everything Is Not Awesome song.
Right.
Which it was, every time they sung that, I felt a little weird. I'm like, well, what about the goodwill that you put with kids, everything is awesome? Now you're saying it's not awesome? They didn't even say sometimes it's not awesome. They just said, nope, everything's not awesome.
Yeah, I thought you would like that song because that describes you.
So you're Lego 1 and I'm Lego 2. Okay.
But I think that the movie... They reminded us in the beginning of Lego Movie 2 that in Lego Movie 1 they decided... They decided and realized that everybody's perfect just the way they are. Right?
Yeah.
And... I feel like that's there's been studies now that teaching kids that they're perfect just the way they are mm-hmm. leads to entitlement issues, feeling entitled. I'm not saying that my daughter is perfect. I love my kid, you know what I mean? I don't see anything, but just telling kids that they get awards for participation awards and stuff like that leads to entitlement, because now I've got teenagers in my classroom that can't stand me giving them any critique about anything. You need to zoom in here. This shot needs to be a little tighter, or you're editing, pick up the pace a little bit here, or they take it so they're so offended by it, And it seems like if we know that, why do we keep making stories that teach kids that everything is perfect the way it is?
You should be okay with not being perfect. Be okay with messing up.
Brad is. He's okay with not being perfect. It's taken him 43 years to get used to it, though.
At some point, you just have to accept yourself as you are. And force other people to accept it, too.
Yeah.
I'm not changing.
Well, and it's not even that. But what it does do, it leads kids down a path where they feel like they don't need to change, or they don't need to grow, or learn new things, or anything like that.
What was the point of the "everything's not awesome" song?
I think everything is not awesome is like a reaction to suddenly things got bad and they didn't know how to deal with it, and they're like, oh, their whole world was shattered because they thought everything was perfect, and then suddenly it's not.
Yeah.
And
so that's the point you're making.
They're like, wait a minute, everything's not awesome. We don't even know what to do if things aren't awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
So they weren't prepared. That was your point.
Yeah.
You're not prepared for accepting. Well, here's the thing. How do you know what to improve? How do you know you could be better or what to make better if they just say, oh, what you did was great?
Self-awareness.
Yeah. So we need to, instead of telling everyone that they're awesome, we need to say, look, everything's not awesome, but you can be more awesome.
Yeah, sure.
That'll be 3. You can be more awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to go to another Lego movie. You can be more awesome. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sit through another Lego movie.
Yeah.
I did not go see Ninjago, which I actually would have liked to go see if I didn't think I was going to be pummeled, because I like ninjas. I mean, just for the pure, I like ninjas. You know what I mean? I don't think those Lego characters are real ninjas, though.
Yeah, I'm not. Ninjago is one Lego piece too much.
All right. Well, that's our review of Alita Battle Angel and Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Is it that? Is it Lego Movie
Lego
the second
movie,
part?
It's Lego Movie 2.
Lego Movie 2
the second part.
So it's like saying 2 twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. You could just call it Lego Movie 2 and everybody knows, because nobody's going to call it, I'd like 2 tickets to the Lego Movie 2, the second part, please. They're not going to do that.
I think I'm going to do that in the title. It's just going to be Lego Movie 2. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. So, again, if you saw Alita or Lego Movie 2, the second part, and have anything to add to what we said, or if you want to argue with us, maybe you think I'm a snob, which we all know anyway.
We'll just ignore you and
just send me an email at movieisms@gmail.com. You can follow me on Beckemeyer on Twitter and Instagram, and he is
the Balding Ewok
on
whatever.
What were we gonna call you? What were we thinking about? No, we were gonna change your name to the Angry Ewok.
Angry, yeah. It's more both are accurate.
Both are accurate. Why don't we change your name to the Angry Balding Ewok?
Because you can't squeeze that in the Twitter name. You have a limited
You're
amount.
just stuck with Balding Ewok.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's it for this time. We will see you again at the movies.
Peace out. The end, whatever. Come on, that's 2 podcasts I have to say the end on. And then it does the end when everything's over. The end.
Movieisms is a production of Super Mega Ultra Entertainment and is produced by Michael Beckemeyer and Bradley Kingston. If you'd like to find out more, follow us on Twitter or Instagram. And make sure you click like on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/movieisms. If you're enjoying this podcast, please take a moment and give us a 5-star review in iTunes. It only takes a minute and it helps us out more than you can imagine. Thank you very much, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.